Very close to where I live flows the Aramosa River. It's not a large river, but at one time it was. The entire riverbank is carved with potholes. The area was formed about 12,800 years ago. Incredible pressured water underneath the glacial mass as it was retreating formed these fissures and whirlpools. Today, the river is a trickle compared to what it was then, as evidenced by the cliffs in some places kilometers apart that are 70 to 80 feet high. In a 10-kilometer stretch, I estimate hundreds, if not thousands, of these potholes, ranging from 4 to 5 feet, maybe 10 feet deep, some much more than 100 feet in diameter. The force of the water was so great that it not only carved all this area, but transformed the entire North American continent with the deluge of water. Here's an old kettle eroded by cedar roots that have broken it up. There's about a 75-foot height of the cliffs banking the river. You can imagine the flow when you look across hundreds of feet, knowing that the water would have taken that whole canyon. All around you can see partial kettles carved out, eroded away. This huge one is probably about 100 feet in diameter, although we only see 1/3 of the wall. Now, the geology is such that it's limestone, so there's coleopods, trilobites, lots of coral fossils are found within the matrix of the rock. Ancient ocean bottom. This is sedimentary rock that once was the bottom of the ocean, pushed up, covered with ice, eroded away. It's a constant cycle. Now, the water also eroded underground rivers. So large parts of Ontario have rivers that sometimes vanish for a kilometer or so and then come back up in these pools. A favorite area I go is the Indian River near the Warsaw Caves. The river actually goes underground for a while. So this is all within a 5-minute trip from my house, and that's one of the reasons why I moved to this area of Ontario. Is there's still lots of nature, lots of hiking opportunities, but we're reminded of the ancient sea life by these incredible gorge-like features. The Allura Gorge is another area where the same limestone is eroded from the same event, all within Wellington County in southern Ontario in Canada. Many of the small canyons are in fact a series of connected potholes. So it appears that these turbulence created channels, creating potholes that eventually eroded and became the little canyons. Some of these are found on top of the cliffs. So there's potholes all through the forest, way, way, way above the current level of the water. So you can really get a feeling that way, long time ago, you can really get a feeling that a long time ago, the pressures and the force of the water was extraordinary. Here's another little slit rock that's a successive series of potholes, so you can see the circular shapes that eventually eroded to create the channel. I get very inspired for my paintings walking through these woods. In fact, I've painted this forest and these rocks for the last 30 years, many, many times. One can feel how ancient the place is. Rock, wood, water, moss, lichens. All of this continues to erode and shape the place. The roots of the cedars are always breaking apart the rocks. Sometimes when I'm there by myself, a feeling of uplifting surges through. One feels the sense of time, the compression of geologic time. Real inspiring to walk amongst ancient features such as this. I get the same feeling I do when I'm in ancient archaeological areas, which are also frequently situated in areas of abundant nature power. I believe that First Nations people were very aware of these places and utilized them in a fashion. Certainly deer would be very afraid to walk through these areas, but man could, not at night. They're treacherous at night. All through the forest, one can find these circular depressions. The beautiful thing about this one is if you climb down the cliff, you can get into it from the bottom. So there's this crack and a fissure just big enough for a person to walk through. You really get a sense of how deep it is when you're inside looking up.